Okay, so I want to tell a little story about this guy I used to know named Newman. I knew Newman when I was in the army at Fort Drum. He came in at the same time as me. He was in my peer group. Both moved into the barracks at the same time in 2007. And when I say shitbag, I mean he's one of these people that's basically born useless. He was one of the most worthless fucking human beings I've ever met. Like one of these people that just completely sucks at life and just has the short end of the stick at everything. Like the guy was just a total brain dead moron. And he could never stay out of trouble. Like I say, he could never do anything right in his entire life. He was actually a nice kid. And I don't know if people really liked him, but they kind of felt sorry for him. Because this guy was like 18 or 19 years old, going on about 10. The emotional level of like a kid. And he was just fucked. And like always, another one of these guys that should never go anywhere near alcohol. Holy shit. When this guy would drink, he would get double, triply fucking stupid. Right? And even though he was a really small and like basically a weak little guy who couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag, suddenly he's a big tough guy when he has alcohol in him and tries to fight people. I don't think the guy ever won a fight in his entire life. I don't think he could scare his own shadow. Didn't stop him from trying. Like this one night, we had this guy named Simile, Dave Simile. It's this guy from Missouri. He was a good guy. Everybody liked him. I still talk to him sometimes. And Simile was a pretty nice guy. And he'd always be inviting people over his house to party and shit. When we were on Rear D, when we first got the drum, his house was considered the party house. And I was over there all the time, at least probably every weekend or every other weekend. And I guess he felt bad for Newman, so he invited him too. Yeah, first few times is uneventful. Until the night that Newman gets completely shit-faced, right? I mean, to the point he doesn't even know where he is. And Simile's wife, her name was Desiree, she happened to be black. And she was very liberal when it came to racism, racist jokes. Yeah, like you could say black jokes or even say nigga in front of her. Like you could be like, yo, what up, nigga? And like she wouldn't give a shit. But if you started being actually racist, of course she'd get offended, like most people were. So instead of saying nigga, he starts saying all this racist shit, and then he says nigger with an ER. Yeah. And finally she draws the line and is like, Newman, shut your fucking mouth. Like, I put up with a lot of this shit because I'm cool, but you're going too far, Newman, just stop. And he just keeps going with it, right? And then we're in the kitchen. Simile comes into the kitchen and like grabs Newman by the shirt collar and pushes him up against the refrigerator. And he just looked. This is the first time I'd seen the guy get angry. Because he was pretty chill, usually. And he's like, Newman, what'd you say to my fucking wife? Newman, shut the fuck up. You've gone too far. Shut your mouth. If you know what's good for you. And Newman just keeps going, right? Funny fucking nigger, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, before we could think or say anything else, Simile just rears his head back and slams a fucking headbutt right into Newman's face. I mean, just like a knockout shot. Like he headbutted him so hard, he basically knocked him down. Or he got him to go down to a knee. And this motherfucker's like pouring blood out of his nose. I mean, like, you'd think the guy just got shot in the fucking face. I mean, just blood just gushing out of his face, pooling onto the kitchen floor. I knew headbutts could do damage, but holy shit, I didn't know one headbutt could open up your face like that. He just slammed his ass. And Desiree just feels sorry for Newman all of a sudden because he's just so pathetic, this kid. And she actually takes him to the bathroom to clean up his face and stop the blood. And this guy is so crazy and so drunk, he comes out of the bathroom and starts talking shit to Simile again. And we're all like, all right, Simile, we know you can, like, beat this fucking kid to death. Most of us could. He's like a child. Just let it go. You want to kick him out of your house? One of us will drive him back to the barracks. Just, you made your point. You fucked his face up. Just leave it alone. And he took our advice and he did it. But, yeah, that was definitely not the last one. It's like 3 weeks or a month later. I can't believe they invited Newman back. I guess, again, they just felt sorry for this loser. So, he comes back. A fresh start. Yeah, right. Gets totally shit-faced, like always. And then decides to get into a fight with this guy named Patterson. Patterson was the last guy you thought could fight. He wasn't a little guy. He was actually really tall. The guy was like 6'5", but he was really, really skinny. I don't know, like 6'5", maybe he weighed 160 pounds, dripping wet. The guy was like practically anorexic. And he picks a fight with Patterson. And, I mean, this guy couldn't fight when he was sober, Newman. But when he was drunk, forget it. And he had like, no coordination, nothing. And he tries charging Patterson and tackling him. And Patterson just fucking sidesteps Newman and flings him into this, it's like a computer table that Simile had in his living room and knocks a bunch of shit on the floor. And he tries charging him again. And he like picks him up and slams Newman on the floor. And then ends up going out into the backyard. And Patterson just threw Newman into the grass and just started beating the shit out of his ass. Punched him in the face like 15 times in a row for finally walking away at enough. Yeah, it was like that. Like I said, some people should be banned from fucking drinking permanently. Definitely fit that category. And then like another month or two after that, Newman went AWOL. And none of us ever saw him again. Oh, man. It's just some people, you really can't make this shit up. I mean, again, he was a nice kid, but he was just total brain-dead waste of life. I don't know where he is now. Some of these other people, I don't even know if the guy's still alive. If he mouthed off to the wrong guy, called the wrong guy's wife or girlfriend a racial slur, or someone stabbed or shot him. Wouldn't surprise me. Definitely not. But, yeah, that is the story of Newman. The great Newman. What a guy. What a fucking guy.